There are a number of expectations as the labor movement in South Africa have on this state of the nation, and primarily amongst many is the issue of jobs in South Africa. At a time when we're conservatively at 27%, it's a huge percentage of unemployment in a country that is aiming to develop itself. We want to hear how a government is dealing with that matter, moving away from the language of want to create job opportunities. It's a huge crisis. There should be a concrete plan government puts in place. How do we preserve the water that is there? How do we even bank the rain that comes all the time so that we have our dams filling up, so that we keep the environment healthy? That we must hear government saying something about that particular issue. The issue around energy, it's another significant matter whereby we fear that there is a shift away from renewable forms of energy. We would want to hear government saying we should not be worried. There is no way they are moving away from renewable forms of energy or alternative forms of energy like renewable gas and other forms of energy. There's an issue where we cannot miss when we going to the state of the nation on health. NHI. We must hear where we are with the NHI. We have been hearing over the past 2 years about pilot projects. I think that is enough, whether they are working or not. Let's hear practically how do we come to preventative forms of health, which is primary health care. We must strengthen primary health care. The other issue that we would expect the president to talk to is crime and corruption. What we're doing as a nation around that, how do we strengthen our strategy to prevent crime and corruption in our country. We must respond to those issues. The crisis of education in our country is not only at tertiary, because tertiary becomes the end side of in the education system. From basic education, preschool basic education and school-based education, we must do a lot of work. And indeed, 2017, as the universities will be opening, we are holding our breath, hoping that solutions would have been found and answers would be there on how the fees crisis is being resolved in South Africa. The issue around land and land reform. Jobs are getting lost, and when people buy land, there is no trickling effect to the surrounding communities who must be employed in those projects or farms that are being bought by people. It's not happening. And how do we enhance land reform so that our people would have more land as opposed to the current situation? Then at the same time, training and preparing people for land is very, very important, because people are given land and they don't know how to use it. They lease it back to the same farmer who owned the land, and the farmer farms and the person gets only 10% out of his own land. It's bad. It should not be encouraged, and government must really strengthen its grip on that space. It it is our expectation that an announcement will be made by the president on the national minimum wage, because negotiations have been dragging on and on and on this question. Yes, I'm aware we're getting closer to progress, but we hope that when next week the president makes the announcement, there is a positive feedback to the South Africans. So those are the areas and more that can come of our expectations from the State of the Nation of the President of the Republic of South Africa. We participated in the alliance, or the ANC NEC Lekgotla, where alliance partners were there. Cosatu was there. Our hopes were raised, taking from the political discourse that was happening there on a number of issues relating to the socio-economy, and people are saying radical socio-economic transformation should be the thing. It's a very great noise to hear, but there's always a but. As Cosatu, we still argue that if you do not deal with the economic chapter of the National Development Plan, the NDP, which still is business as usual, there will be no radical transformation. But I'm happy that everybody is now saying in that meeting, let us radicalize our economy, and land and wealth and properties which are still located in the hands of the very few. Let's shake those, let's disrupt those areas. Alliance relations at the moment are challenged. That's the term I would want to use, due to a number of factors, and I can assure people of South Africa out there that we are meeting now and again to really work on that situation, so that we are cohesed, we are a cohesive formation. Our secretariat is meeting quite oftenly, but we still do not have that minimum program of the alliance, which takes us to the structures in provinces and structures in the regions to send a message. But I think the issues around the succession debates have indeed bedeviled the atmosphere and have diverged us from focusing on the other issues that we're supposed to deal with. But look, there could be better days.